Hello everyone, and thank you so much for joining me today. I thought I would take another chance and talk to camera. I think it's time for me to do a little more of this and get to know you guys, and for you really to get to know me. What I do is I create meditations that are specific to help you heal, especially traumas, and I work a lot with the subconscious. So today I thought I would talk a little bit about addiction, specifically related to marijuana. I was a big stoner. I mean, I was such a stoner that Bob Marley had a poster of me in his bedroom. I stole that joke, by the way. I started smoking, I think I was, oh my God, I can't even remember. Maybe early 20s. I think I dabbled a little bit as well when I was a teenager, but I didn't really get into it. And then it became a thing. And what I mean by a thing, I mean morning to night, double fat joints, 24 hours a day, to the point where I would smoke until I would pass out. I'm sure you smokers out there know exactly what I am talking about. But today, this is not about promoting marijuana. Although if you do it, good for you. If it's working for you, I'm not the person to tell you what does and what doesn't work. However, for me personally, it became an obstacle in life. It became a crutch. It became an addiction. I couldn't live without it. I tried to quit many, many times. I also had the mixture of tobacco and marijuana put together. So I would do, I don't know if they're split, and spliffs is just, I don't know, whatever. You guys know the terminologies these days. So I smoked for most of my life. Literally, I am 36 years old now, and I smoked up until 2 years ago. So I have been sober now for 2 years. I just wanted to share with you guys why I decided to go sober and how that kind of links to my spirituality, my self-development, and the results of that. Let's get into it. So as I mentioned, I started in my early 20s smoking, and I think the reason for that is because I think there were many reasons behind it, but mostly I was uncomfortable with myself in social situations. I had a lot of fears. I wanted to escape from a lot of the pain and suffering that I was going through. And it was an easy drug in the sense of I was functioning. I was a high functioning stoner, so I could wake up, have a smoke, go to work, come home, work while I was at smoke. Of course, I'd sneak out and smoke, and then come home. Oh, finally I could just indulge and enjoy myself. If I was going out socially, it was an excuse for me to sort of, in a way, be able to be social. Although, of course, as you know, sometimes it has the complete reverse effect, which is where you just don't want to see anybody and you just want to be in your own little bubble. But what ended up happening is that over some time, things in my life weren't working out. Things were getting really difficult in every aspect, financially, relationship-wise, emotionally. And it got to a point where I had a little bit of a nervous breakdown. And by a little bit, I mean major. So I currently live in Los Angeles. Long story short, what happened is I had to pack up everything, move back to Australia, get therapy, get help. I was there for 6 months. And to be quite fair, it took me about a year to really recover. But I came back, started smoking again, went back to what I knew, went back to what I thought was safe. And let me tell you, obviously doing the spiritual work that I do and doing the meditation stuff, it ultimately what it does, it brings up self-awareness, and it makes you a little bit more aware of your subconscious mind, the things that you don't understand, why you do them. And I knew that things in my life weren't working out for a reason, and I deep down knew that had something to do with that. Now let's just talk creating positive things in our lives. You want to align energetically to things you want to have. You want to be that thing that you're in alignment with. Now, you can smoke and have that. Snoop Dogg is a pure example of that. Although I don't know his private life, he might have other issues when it comes to that. Maybe not. For me personally, it did become a problem. So I knew it. I wanted to get off it, and so I slowly started by going from smoking to vaping, and then I went from vaping to occasionally having some gummies, and then from there I managed to completely quit. And this is how you know I quit. I went to Jamaica and did not smoke, okay? So my partner who is my fiance now, said something really important to me at the time, which really clicked. And he also used to be a big smoker, but when we met, he was not smoking. And I said to him, you know, what made you wanna make this shift? And he said, I realized that when I was stoned, I was thinking differently and I was making decisions differently. So in that moment, I had a light bulb go off, and I realized everything in life has to do with decisions. Every decision, no matter how small or big, is gonna lead to something. So if I continuously make the old decision, which means I'm a slave to my past, I am going to be able to predict my future. And what I wanted for myself was so much more than where I was at that time. So I knew that this was a test, and I said to myself, you know what? You can always come back to it if this attempt or this trial is not going to work out, this test. And knowing that, it kind of gave me a little bit of a boost. And I was like, I'm gonna give it a year, and I'm gonna commit to sobriety for a year. And I wanna see what happens within a year of me quitting smoking, and monitor this and really see how I feel, my moods, my sleep, my relationships, my career, my everything, how they shift. And if I am right about this, if I am right about the fact that if I get sober, and this was linked to the reasons why there are so many issues in my life, because my energy is all over the place. Like, I can't focus. When you're stoned, as nice and as amazing as it feels sometimes, you're off. You're not being in tune with your truth, because ultimately you're altering your energetic state and you're altering your mind. Now, if you're a casual smoker and you can do that once in a while, good for you. I couldn't do that. If I had one joint, it would lead to 25 joints. So I understood that that was not an option for me, and I understood that I had the addict's mind when it came to that. And so I started my sobriety journey. Now, it's not easy. It's really not easy. Why? Because anytime that anything great happens, I want to celebrate. And what do I want? I want to have a smoke. Anytime anything bad happens, what do I want? I want to go back to what I know that's going to make me feel better. And of course I wanted to smoke. So I did different things to get me out of it. I used mantras, I used meditation, of course, and I used affirmations to constantly remind me. Now get this, guess what happens when you quit? The universe is going to test you. And in a way that's a reflection of yourself, right? You're going to put temptation in front of you, because let's face it, it's what you've drawn into your life for so long, and you've made sure to create that scenarios in your life so that you can keep smoking. I cannot tell you the amount of times that I quit smoking and somebody drops a bag and just say, here you go, here's some free, and you're like, are you serious? And of course I couldn't say no at the time. Now if they did it, I'd be like, hell nah, I'm good. So I did it. I started. I had been tempted. In fact, once even I went to the Hollywood Cemetery. It's some sort of film thing where they outdoors, where they do a big screen, and of course who was promoting it was the company, so everybody was smoking. By this point I had been sober for about 7 months, and I got a nice woof everywhere, and I left that place and I was so stoned. I mean, as you know, when you've quit smoking and then you just smell it, you're like off your trolleys. It felt amazing. I mean, it reignited that, like, oh my god, I love this. I remember this feeling, like walking on cloud 9, and I was in a cemetery at night, so I was like, this is just fucking cool. The next day, oh my god, how I felt was horrible. Not only that, but I was angry. So I have, being the spiritual work that I do and being so sensitive, anything that I put into my system, it has an effect. And I felt that the next day. And what I used to do was have another smoke straight away. Oh, I feel better now, right? So when I really sat with myself, I was like, I don't want this anymore. This feeling, yes, I felt great, but then the down the next day and the time that it takes to recover for it, it took my whole day. Not only that, but it affected my relationships, because I'm pissed off, I'm grumpy, I'm irritable. You don't want to be around that, you know? Anyway, so what happened now that I've quit? Well, it's been well over a year, and my life has changed and it has improved. To begin with, the biggest improvement has been my mood. So my mood has absolutely stabilized. Yes, I still have up and down days. I still have those moments, but they're nowhere near as extreme, and they're not as consistent. I sleep just fine, by the way, for everybody who makes the excuse, oh, I can't sleep. That will eventually adjust. But my relationships improved. In fact, I got engaged this year to an incredible man, the same man that gave me that advice. It amplified self-awareness, and it allowed me not to be so impulsive in my reactions as well. So I could actually think think things through before reacting. Of course, when you're stoned, you're less likely to react impulsively. It's when you're not smoking or when the weed is getting out of your system that you will impulsively react. My career has taken a complete turnover. I'm an actor. I've been booking quite a bit of work this year. In fact, that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to do it, because I knew doing the job that I did, I had to be in tune and in sync with my emotions. And if I'm smoking, detaching from that a little bit, you know, or I'm creating an alternate state of emotional state. Trust me, I'm not stoned. It's just my brain today, I'm tired. So yes, that improved, and not only in my film and acting department, but now with my meditation channel, it has been growing, and I have actually had the privilege now to become a meditation therapist, or self-proclaimed meditation therapist. If you guys know any other name for it, please let me know. But basically what I do is I work with the subconscious, and I have clients now, and I also go to rehabilitation centers and I teach people everything that I've taught myself when it comes to meditation. So I'm sharing these healing tools to people, and I'm seeing the benefits of it. And it's amazing how much had changed within a year. And up until that point, not much had changed. In fact, most things, you know, were challenging. And so really what I wanted to do today is share this quick story with you. And if you are somebody who's smoking and who is thinking about quitting, you know it's something that is become a problem in your life, or a crutch, or you have no other alternative, there is other alternatives. This is obviously something that you're gonna have to test out and discover. I obviously always recommend meditations for this, because the habit is built up subconsciously, so you need to work with the subconscious, and meditation really helps with that. But also, you know, you owe it to yourself. I mean, if things are not working out in your life and you have this gut feeling, your intuition that is saying this is one of the reasons why things are not working out for you, please listen, because that voice is there for a reason, and it's trying to tell you something. And I know it's really difficult, but many before you have done it, I'm proof of that. And I want you to know that there is also help out there. If you think that just because you smoke weed, you can't go to AA meetings or find a therapist or something, please do. It's a journey, and it's gonna be a lot of trial and error, but the reward is so worth the journey and the pain and the challenges. And I promise you that when you get to the other side, you're gonna look back and you're never, ever, ever going to walk that path again.